White labelers of A1WebStats can choose whether or not clients receive a daily or weekly email from the system containing the information about visiting companies. If choosing for your clients to receive the daily email, it would look similar to this, but instead of the A1WebStats logo and branding, it would be sent using the details of your white label. There is a danger that clients may browse through that email of companies but not look any deeper. What's important is to see what those visitors looked at page by page after they click through to the website. To do that, all they have to do is click on the View Detailed Report link, which goes to the login page. Again, for white labelers of A1WebStats, this would be your login page. It wouldn't have our branding or any reference to us on here. It would be the details that are set up within your portal. Normally the client would have kept their login details saved in their browser, and so it's easy to log in just by clicking on Login here. What they will see is a summary of the companies that visited their website in the previous day, and we very much recommend that they click on Show to look at the detail level. What they typically do then is to scroll through the people who came to their website, identified as companies, and they would look at what they looked at page by page after they visited. They would then judge which of those they want to follow up with further, which might be useful to them in some way. They scroll through, looking at all the visitors, and when they find something that's going to be useful to them, they're going to take action. Now let's say, for example, this was of interest, someone from BP in France. In this case, they only went to a home page, so it's not that interesting. But let's say they wanted to send this on to someone in the business. They could click Email here. They could pick a particular person, and they could add a note, and then just click on Send. And what that would do is send that visitor by email to that other user of the system. They can have as many users set up as they want to. Other things they might want to do is they might want to track visitors to their website because they might be of interest in some way. So for example, whoever this was that came into this page, they might want to get an instant alert every time that person comes back to the website by selecting someone's name and confirming, and that will then alert that person every single time they come back to the website in the future. There's also tagging. They might want to tag their visitors in particular ways when they come to a website, and you can use tags to send customized emails to people within the business. As an example of tagging, we might be interested in these people who have been to the website and looked at a few pages. So we go to Tags, tick on Prospect Client, which puts that tag against them there. What we could optionally then do is set up a report that sends someone in the business a daily or an instant email every time someone is tagged as a prospect client, and that person can then act on that in some way. By default, the system is set up to send out a daily email, and that will show all visitors that are identifiable as companies to a website, but that might not always be applicable. So what you can do is create customized reports from the system. For example, this one here, companies visiting us yesterday who aren't tagged as clients, trialers, etc. This is sent through to us at a certain time of each day. You can choose the time, and we know that all these visitors to the website are from businesses that aren't customers of ours, and therefore we might want to reach out to those businesses depending on what they looked at on our website. So you can create as many filtered reports as you want to, focused on companies or anything else, and they can be delivered to your clients within your white label branding. Now I'm going to focus on more depth about companies visiting the website and what to do about that, including why it's quite a danger to go too far into that. So I'm using a day here, and I've got a list of companies that visited the website. I'm going to click on Show. And this shows us 13 visitors identifiable as companies that got to this website in the previous day. Now that company could go through and look at these in various ways, and they can take action on some of them. For example, if they were interested in this particular company here and didn't know anything about them, they could click on the LinkedIn symbol to go through to LinkedIn. And what it will do is it will bring up a range of companies that match that. So we're going to click on the one that we know it is. And you can see here you've got a big list of employees. Now you could click on that. And we could try to drill deeper into people within that organisation. So maybe we're interested in people who have got a job title of a particular type. In our case, we're using Sales Navigator, so we could go through and maybe find people in a particular function. Maybe we're interested in people in engineering in this case. And we've got fewer people. And we could filter as much as we want to, and we could start looking at people's profiles and deciding whether they're the people we might want to reach out to. And that can be quite painful. Sometimes it can get results and you might be able to reach out to people from these companies doing that. But maybe what we should do is look at the visit as a whole. If we go back to this visit, we can see they came in from a Google search. They went to one particular page, and then they seemed to go to another page after that, after about a minute. Now let's say that the person from this organisation didn't make contact. You could spend a lot of time trying to reach out to that business in various ways, and there are methods to do that. You could also take the perspective that maybe something wasn't quite right about the website that didn't give them enough reason to make contact. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a particular part of the website that they got to. It's bottle handling systems. So we're going to go back to the dashboard of the system. We're going to look at all pages that were visited in that day. I'm going to search for anything with handling in it. And you can see these are related pages. So we're actually going to look at all the visitors who got to that part of the website just in this one day to start with. And what you now get are all visitors, not just the identifiable companies. And this is a really important point. Whoever this was, for example, there's no way to identify them from their IP address. They came to the website on a particular page and then went no further. This was the company we were looking at just a moment ago, so we can identify them, but if they didn't make contact, we then have to wonder why that was. And so on. And you can go through, and you can sometimes see the search phrase that people use. In this case, someone searched Bing for a particular phrase, and how they move the website. But overall, what you're trying to look at is how many people in a time period got to a part of the website, and how many of those made contact. Now we could easily change that date range. We could say, right, we're interested in this date range of how many people got to that particular part of the website. And we get a number, 15. And there are different ways of looking at this data. If we go to look at advanced filters and we pick a month, for example, I'm going to stay with that particular subject. We're going to look at people who got to a particular part of the website, bottle handling. And we're going to run that data. And we're picking a whole month here. This is going to give us a number of 126 visitors who got to that part of the website during that time period from around the world. A lot of the time they're not identifiable, but if we do want to see those that are, we go back to here and we can add a filter to say, let's pick those that are visitor type of businesses and add them. Now if you were the company and you're looking at a whole month and you could see 10 out of 126 visitors who got to that part of the website were identifiable as companies, you could take the path of trying to reach out to all these businesses in some way, especially if they didn't make contact, because you want to get something out of the fact that they visited a website. Okay. But you could also take another perspective and think, okay, all these people got to that part of the website, but nobody made contact about that particular product or service. And so you would probably take the view I'm going back to here, removing the businesses, and going back to all the data of all those people who got to that part of the website. Some data you can probably exclude. For example, this is clearly a bot that's been to the website, but most of the time there will be people who've been to the website. Regardless of how they're seen by the system, they're probably business type people. They might just be in different locations at the time that they visited the website. This person is a late evening UK visitor who's just using their Sky system to view the website. But the fact that they looked at all these pages could imply that they're interested in that particular product. And where this would link into a web developer or agency is that you would start thinking about that particular page that they got to in the website and start considering what could be done to make that page stronger. It is of course still the case that most people who use the system, including via the white label, will be interested in the names of the companies that come to the website and what they looked at page by page. And yes, they can try to follow up with these businesses using various methods to do that. No system will tell you who the actual person was to the website, but a company that's got a certain culture or mindset will find ways to reach out if they think that potential customer was important enough to them to put that effort in. However, we would always recommend not to focus too much on the company's chasing aspect of the system and think more about the overall visitor paths and how those businesses can strengthen their online proposition to get more results from those visitors. Because all companies would much rather have people proactively make contact in them rather than them having to go through the pain of trying to reach out to people within those businesses that they've seen have been to their website.